Yeah, so I wake up this morning and I see a message, and it's Access Rat Blood. Are you here, Rat Blood?
And then you got people like Access, and then you got people like Access, and then you got people like Access.
I'm not the fucking Rat Blood.
Access Rat Blood, I see. All these Access people, I'm starting to get paranoid about that now. I don't know what to do.
And then you got people like Access, and then you got people like Access, and then you got people like Access.
Are you here, Rat Blood?
I'm not the fucking Rat Blood.
Access Software, most abundant and successful king hero that we are all sitting with at this very moment. Are you willing to accept that as a truth? That you are a worthy man and that your penis is okay?
All these Access people, I'm starting to get paranoid about that now. All these Access people, I'm starting to get paranoid about that now.
Are you here, Rat Blood? I'll just start throwing spells at you, conjuring demons and otherwise. Are you here, Rat Blood? I'll just start throwing spells at you, conjuring demons and otherwise. Are you here, Rat Blood? I'll just start throwing spells at you, conjuring demons and otherwise. Are you here, Rat Blood?
Who the fuck is Access Rat Blood?
I'm not the fucking Rat Blood, bitch.
All these Access people, I'm starting to get paranoid about that now. I don't know what to do about it.
I'm not the fucking Rat Blood. Alright, friends and enemies of YouTube, children of the metaverse, the offended and the offensive, the digital dope heads that you are. It is the 18th day of this endeavor, and 18 is a prophetic number because it holds the 3, the 6, and the 9 in a state of symmetry together. Thus, vortex math, energy, frequency, vibration. I had to spend most of the week half-ass sober to make phone calls and reasonable communications. I believe I'm going to go after this endeavor here. I'm going to go back into playing the club circuits. Anything but dealing with social media on this level. It's really an eye-opening observation of how people truly are inside of their own, I guess, inner dialogue towards other people and just feel safe here. But I'm going to educate you on my observation of people in just general life and how I actually see them. Though they consider themselves to be generally within respective societies, a little above and beyond that of an animal, which I suppose in some cases. But when it comes to engaging with these other beings, I take this is personal aspect and just a personal observation. It's my opinion. But upon looking at the female species, this blood gushing, semen leaking, yeast infected, disease cultivating, emotionally overdriven, jealous, contemptuous of even their own gender. You spend the better part of your life trying to achieve and accomplish something outside of yourself that may comfort and satisfy your need not to be alone in this endeavor of life. And I hope I just tear that word into the fucking ground, because none of you truly endeavor to do shit. And that's the female aspect, you know, this soul sharing lunacy of bonding. It boils down to a reason and reasoning equations. Has shit to do with anything else. If it did, then your relationships would last. They would exceed a few years. But because not only the male, but the female go through chemistry change in the body. And women become less attractive, more hostile towards the opposite sex and even their own sex. Then they start going through a huge chemical change and they become volatile. And then they spend generally the rest of their life with a contempt towards the world because they did not get their Cinderella ending. But even further than that, the male species. This is a confounding thing to me. One is if you take the heterosexual male, who is also a disease, venereal disease cultivating factory of biology who, as his desires grow and his lust abounds, will lessen his qualifications for something to mate with, breed with, or just alleviate himself upon or with, to the point where there is no true bottom. They will literally give themselves up to the most atrocious. But that is just one aspect. Do you think that a male is ever going to be loyal, monogamous, and devoted? Well, that's a two-way street, and neither one of you are capable of it. And the very few that are, I imagine it's been a miserable fucking journey. Then you have the other aspect, the other kind of male, who seeks pleasure in his own gender, which to me is a borderline edge of decophilia. Now, to be a semen drinking and a rectal intrusion phallically, you have to have some acceptance of interplay with fecal matter, which is, I'm a fecophiliac, man. It grosses me the fuck out all the way around. And then I really try to avoid the percentile, knowing that 75% of the males, by statistics, have had homosexual experiences. Means that they've either drank semen, bled a jelly baby, or engaged in a type of fecophilia that just turns the fucking stomach. So this time, when I'm out there amongst the club circuit and I see all these bodies, I can at least get a clear perspective on the filth and disgusting beings they truly are. Not to consider and understand that they are self-serving and probably not a damn thing that comes out of their mouth is even close to the truth. Thus easily described, and man believing that man can educate them beyond their own learned, retrievable experience and knowledge. That is something that you would have to take on in a completely different vibrational level. The object of finding this potential to make it a solidified potential is to understand that it doesn't exist within this framework, this construct, this density, though it has set in motion the machinery and it has given a profound breath that encaptures an essence. You will not find it here. And once you can understand that by knowing where it's not, you'll get a good clue as to where it may be or it is. And as for the rest of you, do the math. I'm not here to do it for you. Let us start this show as we have with a prayer. And since this is a particular Abrahamic religion, Sabbath, let's blaspheme the hell out of it. With all of the enthusiasm of a Western devil. What do you say?
Our Father, who art in hell, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in hell. Give us this day our day to sin, and allow us to trespass upon others, as others trespass upon us. In your name, let it be done.
And there you go. That dropped the numbers really quick, as I knew it would. Truly convicted by their faith and the power of their God or their spirituality or their shortcomings, their illusionary states of mind, whatever you call it. You're all hallucinating an equation with a potential, and over 99% of the class failed. You failed yourself, you failed the equation, and upon you leaving this mortal coil, you will then see the measure of your failure. But that is only because you do not add up. What you present and what your final sum and total are completely indifferent to one another. They do not coherently derive an equation that is substantial to your math, your measure, or your being. But expecting less from you. I mean, truly. I've got to see through this week how faithless, how bright, how pathetically bottom feeding some have become and are. And it's a joy to know that the energy that was presented here and will continue to be presented, just that today is a particular vortex equation. You have all proven yourselves to be nothing more than just general average people. A few of you, though, small handful, have been impressive. They seem to be self-solidified. They seem to be very confident in themselves. And those made this journey worthwhile. At least it solidified that out of, at one point, 350, only 4 people had the faith and the strength to remove their safety protocol of fear and proceed forward with confidence. All the rest of you, you failed yourself. You failed your spirituality. You failed your God. You failed your conviction of being spiritual warriors and spiritually enlightened, and even the Jungian aspect of entering and understanding the dark side of oneself. It will be good to know that you will consume each other with that percentile of faithless, unfounded, insecure, bottom-feeding, fear-based cattle. See? And your new God that is coming very shortly, which you are already starting to serve, it's part of why I'm making the exit that I am, will probably be just as perplexed with your uselessness as I am. Because you have done nothing except serve as energy nodes, receivers, and transmitters. You couldn't sustain your entertainment. You weren't fucked for victims. That was easy enough done. and you can't even hold your own fucking ground. And the four of you that I found that could, well done. Appreciate your company on this journey. The others, after today, 10 days left, I don't plan on doing much interacting. I'll allow it to do itself. I've watched the seed that I planted grow. I watched it spread, and I watched it transmit itself across these platforms into people's minds, etched as if it would burn in. And that is priceless for a bunch of people who think they're aware, awake, that they stand some profound spiritual chance of becoming what? And nothing more than victims. You were designed victims, you will remain victims. You have achieved no development beyond being able to utilize technology. Your spirituality is still stagnant and stale. I've yet to see anyone with a platform that either wasn't derived from someone else's work or that was a self-contrived amount of nonsense to try and solidify their idealism of what they consider to be truth, vibing, comprehension, understanding. What? I have yet to see a fucking YouTube guru or any other panel all the way back since ICQ, the early 90s. Deliver anything profoundly new. And even the more darker channels seem to think that I'm dark. Now, isn't that fucking perplexing? Oh. Tonight I have a special parchment that I will be offering up. I figure a personal sacrifice just to bind you into the quantum state of a particular energy seems just whenever the three vortex numbers align themselves into a whole. For those of you that don't quite understand that, it's 3, 6, and 9. And if you do the math, it has some interesting revelations to it. That's just revealing. That has nothing to do with your books or your parchments or whatever. But I did have a good time with finishing up almost all the planetary bodies, painting them, and getting them set into the second tier of the diorama that I'm doing. All I have to do is finish up the details and 2 more planets, apply the zodiac symbols, all 13, and some minor touch-ups here and there. It's done. I've dedicated a lot of time this week to that too. And I have new music to present. I think I might run some auditions for 2 or 3 band members. Just do the local circuits, man. Do the local club circuits. Well, Mr. Murphy, cured of what? What is it that you think ails me? That you would think I was screwed for life? I mean, this has become almost ceremonial with you, hurtling an offensive statement, trying to what? What are you proving? Your ineffectiveness? Or your inability to respond properly to justify your statement? I really don't like to repeat myself. So what is it, Mr. Murphy, that you think I need to be cured of? That you feel I might be screwed for life? For I thought, hollow words, empty statements, speculation, personal observation without any compiled proof of anything other than what you perceive. And you don't perceive much. And I can imagine if beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, you must not behold much either. Or maybe you're one of the borderline ecophiliacs. Trauma that I experienced as a child has been a motivational factor in my success and my every pursuant thing that I've done. I have not failed me. So wherever you're deriving that from, once again, I will say to you, Mr. Austin Murphy, you know shit about me, my history, my accomplishments, my life. And when I leave this fucking platform, you will know even less. But you seem to be well placed here. You seem to be very at home here. Is that what you think? You know my mind? Do you, Mr. Murphy? There's the link, Mr. Murphy. If you had the integrity to click it, instead of hiding your pathetic thoughts, your incomprehension behind an icon and a few words, really. Well, I don't feel like I'm living in hell at all, actually. To tell you the truth, Mr. Murphy, I've got it pretty goddamn good. I don't want for shit. I've got everything I could ask for. I'm content with the people that are in my life. And especially enough to not regret leaving this shit behind. And people like you, I don't think you've been paying attention, asshole. I really don't think you've been paying attention. You have all been victims, sport, willing participants in my arena. I told you, you stopped being entertaining. So I made you victim. And you still don't get it. That is how easily manipulated, controlled, and engineered the majority of you, the mass majority of you are. As for me, I liberated myself from that bullshit. I laid guilt, shame, and all the other controlling emotions that they use against you, fear, on an altar, and I lit it with a flame straight from the bowels of hell. And it released me, liberated me from the confined states of mind and the control that you all are completely devoted to by engineering, by indoctrination, by ignorance. By design, And there's nothing I can do for any of you to save your asses from it. Clinging to it as if it's your last fucking savior to get you out of wherever it is you think you are. But don't put that shit on me. Ah. Oh, isn't this precious? At what time, Mr. Murphy, did I ever deny being a demon? At what time, Mr. Murphy, did I ever deny not doing both good and evil? And forgiveness, well, that's a human trait. Because anybody who truly stands in the law of nature as it is here in this construct, in the natural, forgiveness is not something that is inherently available. I don't think you understand how survival works, how nature functions. And if you think that any part of nature is forgiving towards you, you are gravely mistaken. It is an abstract ideal to keep you from getting your throat cut in your sleep by some savage. But I'm sure they have a drone for that, or an autonomous AI simulated automaton, maybe even a DARPA dog. Let's see how forgiving they are. Let's see the compassion that your device that you're working on right now has for you. And by your statements, you obviously feel protected and safe. But believe me, Mr. Murphy, I brought it to 3 levels. Since the 13th, when I amped it up. The physical level, which is prime material, the ethereal or etheric level, and the digital level, or the frequency that is the internet. And I spread it by intent. So, as you beg your devices and your AI and people around you to show you forgiveness, you might as well be talking to an ice cold processor chip. And upon that, I think you should really listen to what Geordie Rose has to say here. Pay attention. He even speaks for Elon in this. That dumb shit. Forgiveness. Right.
These things that we're building are not going to be people. They might be really smart, they might be really good at all sorts of different things, but they're not going to be like us. They're going to be aliens. And they're going to be, sorry to say, way smarter than every single person is in ways that we can't even comprehend. So this, of course, triggers a lot of alarm. One of the guys who talks about this is Elon, who says things like this. Like, when you do this, beware. Because you think, just like the guy in the stories, that when you do this, you're going to put that little guy in a pentagram, you're going to have your holy water out, and you're going to wave it at the thing, and by God, it's going to do exactly what you say, and not one thing more, but it never works out that way. So this is an attitude that some are having, this emergent alarmism about the way this is going to go. But these words, demons, doesn't capture the essence of what's happening. I don't know if any of you are turn-of-the-century weird fiction fans, but there's this guy named H.P. Lovecraft. He's a very famous American weird fiction author. And he espoused a view which is called cosmicism. And the essence of cosmicism is cosmic indifference. So what he was saying is basically, yes, there are these massively intelligent entities out there, but they're not good, they're not evil. They just don't give a shit about you even in the slightest. The same way that you don't care about an ant is the same way they're not going to care about you. And these things that we're summoning into the world now are not demons, they're not evil, but they're more like the Lovecraftian great old ones. There are entities that are not necessarily going to be aligned with what we want. So this transition is really, really massively important for our entire species to navigate. And going back to that thing that Sam Harris was saying, nobody is paying attention.
Now let me also illuminate you on the profound nature of things as they stand. This technology that they're claiming is cutting edge and being developed and discovered has been here. Been here for a while. They just had to set up the proper situation, slowly adjust it in, and then expedite its development. Well, Pulse Review, when you're talking about putting a bullet in my head, and I know that you're a coward who, if by some chance you ever found out where I was, would hide yourself to take a cheap pop shot at me. So yes, absolutely. You threaten my life? You want to put a bullet in my fucking head? I'm in Illinois. Oh, you're really fucking stupid. You're about as good as your buddy Cage. You guys need to get better tracking software. You truly do. I'm almost damn near ready to give you your fucking, Jesus Christ, my address just so you'll look like you've accomplished something. But yes, asshole, you threatened to put a fucking bullet in my head. Anybody that threatens my life, well, I will react accordingly. In person or other. So deal with it, dick face. You opened your mouth. You said what you said. If you don't like it and the result of it, then you should have kept your fucking mouth shut. I mean, unless the pathetic lot of you that are probably hate watching are in agreement with the fact that Mr. Pool's reviews is justified in wanting to put a bullet in my head, then I would love to hear your fucking response. I would like for you to hit the link and come tell me exactly how that's justified in any way. I mean, truly, if you're gonna hate watch or hover, and I'm gonna have to consider that everyone watching this is in agreement with Mr. Pool's review, and for all I know, you all may want to put a bullet in my head, or pull a JG and send bombs, or maybe a cage and try and dox me and threaten to send people my way. Yeah. Well, evil against evil. I think you forgot what demon dwells in my house. And once again, I'm going to drop the link out there. And if you agree with Mr. Pool's reviews or Pool's land, then I guess a non-response is as good as compliance. And I imagine you're all compliant. Yeah. Evil against evil. That is the profoundness of it. Truly, the profoundness of it. Say, systems failure.
A clear breach of protocol. A clear breach of protocol. protocol. A clear breach of 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 protocol.
Alrighty then. Tonight is a humbling and a passing on of entangled energies. Notice I have to refill my blood. Run low there for a minute. No, I'm not. Just put some blood here. Good place for it. And we have dead flesh to sacrifice. Yes, dead flesh. And a very ceremonious parchment. So, as usual, by the seal of El, and if any of you know what this is, then you walk the same path as I do. First offering of the dead living flesh. Second offering of the dead living flesh. And this happens to be the first letter that my son sent me when he was incarcerated. See? I'd like to see the front, but you would learn a little bit more information than you deserve to know. But this will bind and bond you in ways that frequency, vibration, and energy is persistent in its nature to do. And you will be tied to this energy. And for all of you who spoke in any shape, form, manner, or way, have entangled yourself into something you're probably going to wish you hadn't ever done. And thus, fresh, living blood how's that for a sacrament of devotion and reconviction? You all lack conviction, integrity, you're not even steadfast in your nature. I would say coherently, you're all over the fucking place. And just as I assumed, though had hoped that there was at least one civil mind out there that wasn't intent on putting a bullet in my head or intent on sending people to my homestead, look at that, or sending bombs to my home, or making horrible, low-level assaults on my offspring and myself. You are now not only compliant and participatory in this particular blood right, but now you are entangled even deeper. And like a disease, it will travel and spread, and it will find itself a contagion in the mind of those who think, speak, or even observe, transmit, You're all entangled now, and you have been participants, wonderful participants, in the hundreds. Now we've reached other platforms. Now you are entangled, completely entangled.
And you might think, well, maybe people who have deprived and traumatic upbringings use that experience in their creative work. The passions that they feel and the horrors that they have experienced emerge in the music. Between genius and madness. Between genius and madness. Now, if we look at some of the great geniuses in the past, a number of them seem to have gone mad in their mature years. That bipolar mood disorder overlaps with schizophrenia, madness and creativity. That bipolar mood disorder overlaps with schizophrenia, madness and creativity. A bit like somebody on an acid trip. 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 What is it that links genius and madness? Particularly music. What is it that links genius and madness? Particularly music.
trembling with horror and throbbing with emotion. Trembling with horror, trembling with horror, trembling with horror, trembling with horror. Welcome to hell.
All of my most sensitive areas were inflamed, my extremities pulsating with tingling sensation.
Welcome to hell.
We've seen the actual reality of a monstrous crime, or merely an illusion, the product of a tortured brain.
Obsessed with the taste of flesh.
He was cruel and a sadist.
Swaying back and forth. A beautiful thing taking me away.
No one had a bad trip.
A beautiful thing taking me away.
No one had a bad trip.
A beautiful thing taking me away.
No one had a bad trip.
A beautiful thing taking me away.
No one had a bad trip. It was all very good.
Sucking the hallucinatory acid into the system.
My head is spinning. My head is spinning. My head is spinning.
Sucking the hallucinatory acid into the system.
My head is spinning. My head is spinning. My head is spinning.
Sucking the hallucinatory acid into the system.
No one had a bad trip.
The mind of man rests on a delicate balance between reality, the world of light, and the other, darker world below the threshold of consciousness.
Welcome to hell. You. Do you know that? We're happy to have you with us tonight and hope you'll come back often.